Hey everybody, this is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous good-looking friends. If you haven't heard it by now.
But again, the Duke of Sussex, there you go. Buckingham Palace is pleased to confirm that the Duke of Sussex will attend the coronation service at Westminster Abbey on the 6th of May. The Duchess of Sussex will remain in California with Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet.
On this, are you saddened that Meghan won't be there?
I think what the Sussexes quickly realised is that Meghan is the real lightning rod for some of that dislike.
There's definitely one person who must be so relieved and so glad that Meghan is not coming to the coronation, and that would be Catherine. In Robert Jobson's new book, Our King, Charles III, he details that Catherine had later admitted to a senior royal that the walkabout was one of the hardest things she's ever had to do. Such was the ill feeling between the two couples, meaning Meghan and Harry. When you look back at a lot of these videos, you can see how Catherine must have felt. In this video, she's standing off to the side, purposely not engaging and looking away from Meghan and Harry. William was very much in tune with how Catherine felt. As you can see, he wanted to keep her close to him as he knew that she was uncomfortable. And Catherine was doing her very best to avoid eye contact with Meghan as long as she possibly could. But you know, like when you feel someone is watching you or their eyes are on you, it's the creepiness that Meghan brings to the table. And obviously, Catherine had to muster up to give her that back off look.
I think that we must all be grateful that Kate, in the end, I think, prevented Meghan coming and said she wouldn't have her there under any circumstances. And if she did come, she had to sit at the back.
It's the one and only Digo Double G.
Catherine knew from the very beginning that this woman was trouble. Right from the wedding, you can see the expressionless, no smiles Catherine sat there as if she was attending like a funeral. And that was unusual for Catherine. A lot of people had commented back then on this, noticing that Kate wasn't her same bubbly self, while some were saying that she was exhausted from just giving birth to Prince Louis, and others who were sugars had said that, of course, Catherine was just jealous of Meghan. It's actually amusing to watch her face because she's looking at all the celebrities that Meghan doesn't know and questioning why are they even there. Now, Catherine does an excellent cut direct where she will pierce right through you as she's done with Meghan on many occasions. One of them most recently was this walkabout, but did you guys know that she did one that made Meghan so uncomfortable during Christmas time? Take a look. So this was the Christmas at the end of 2018, and as you can see, Meghan does not fit in at all. And of all colors to be wearing, she wears black as if she's attending some type of funeral. So desperate to be acknowledged by William and Catherine for the cameras, they won't even look at her. Even though they're smiling and looking cordial, they are seeing right through her. This cut direct is so effective. So let's remember this time frame. It was about this point where all these stories started leaking around Meghan's horrible behavior. The Sussex staff had been quitting on Meghan and Harry. So there were grumblings going around that Meghan had been an absolute nightmare to work for. Unbeknownst to the public, Jason Kanoff had prepared a dossier for William describing the abuse that the employees took from Meghan. So this chilly, frosty reception that we see here now is understandable. What bugs me, though, is the palace knew about the bullying and they covered up for Meghan. Now, remember, the Queen wanted these four to put on a unified front for this event, which, in my mind, I think was wrong, especially if they knew that Meghan's behavior was abusing their own staff. Catherine had put up with a lot of shit. Not only was she attacked in the media by Meghan, and the attacks are ongoing with malicious lies that Meghan had been putting out that jeopardized the safety of her and her family. Of course, she should have every right to say whether or not Meghan should be invited and allowed to come and where she should sit as far away as possible. Meghan will never be at another event ever with these folks. It's no wonder why this was the last Christmas service that Meghan was going to ever attend with the family. No one was giving her the time of day. Even her so-called friend, Eugenie, was not even looking at her. In this clip, you'll see Beatrice, who Meghan is looking at, and Beatrice completely ignoring and walking past her. And then Eugenie doing the same exact thing, but Meghan being so desperate to talk to somebody. Harry was preoccupied talking to William and Catherine. Her insecurity forces her to give a false compliment to Eugenie, like she really cares about Eugenie's dress. So naturally, Eugenie is flattered by the comment, and she turns to Meghan quickly and puts her arm there, and Meghan has her claw on her, but Eugenie breaks away and continues on into the church. Jealousy and inability to not make it about herself is why she didn't get along with the family. Who could forget this video of Meghan completely snubbing Catherine and doing everything that she possibly could to not engage with her? So this was in 2019, right after Archie was born, and she brings him out to this polo match in this blistering heat, looking all awkward in how she was holding him and not wanting to get any sort of help from Catherine or even engage with her. As you can see, Catherine is with her kids, looking effortless in mothering. Keep in mind, Catherine is handling 3 kids and still looks like she's having a good time. In walks in Meghan, completely ignoring Catherine, passing it by to go stand over by the car, completely ignoring Catherine like the bitch that she is because she was unaware that somebody was filming in the bushes, as you can see here. Now, I'm not sure who Meghan is talking to, but again, Meghan is using somebody to look like she is not standing around by herself because nobody wants to talk to her. I guarantee that that conversation was equally as superficial as the conversation she tried to strike up with Eugenie, just seen before. Now, Catherine is still over here doing her thing with her kids, and of course, Meghan tries to, I would say, compete with that to show that she's equally as awesome as Catherine is as a mother. Meghan decides to put on a show for everybody by appearing that she is very much the nurturing and loving kind of mother, just like, if not better than Catherine. As you can see, she's doing everything she can to draw attention, but looking foolish because it's 90 degrees out, and this poor baby that literally is less than 2 months old is out in the sun with no type of protection around him. Do you think Catherine would have brought her newborn out into the heat like that? Absolutely not. And you can see here that Meghan is doing everything that she possibly can to ignore Catherine, even go as far as to get out of the vicinity of where Catherine was because she just couldn't take it. And when she turned her head to see where Catherine was and noticed that Catherine was going back to her car as well in the same direction, Meghan changes course and goes back to where she originally was, which makes it look so obvious that she couldn't handle being in the same space because she feels so inferior to Catherine. And the improper way that Meghan was holding Archie naturally concerned Catherine. And you can see that Catherine was trying to assess the situation, maybe try to assist or help, but Meghan wanted none of it. And you can see Catherine just ignores her now and moves forward with her children. Meghan's attitude of, I can do whatever she can do and do it better on my own, makes her look even more incompetent and exposes her for the fraud that she is. Meghan will never allow herself to be in a position where Catherine will have the upper hand ever again. Meghan is a coward. She will never subject herself to being put in a position to where she is confronted or exposed for the nasty person that she is. Meghan can spin whatever narrative she feels like spinning and saying that, oh, she is staying back for Archie's birthday. We all know that that is some BS nonsense. The whole world is laughing at her. I'm not sure if you saw this or caught this during the Queen's funeral, but even Princess Charlotte was laughing at Meghan. Watch this. As you can see, they're all getting into the car, and you have Camilla and you have Catherine in the first car, and then behind it is Sophie and Meghan. So everybody's getting in the first car on the same side, out of the same door, when suddenly the camera pans over to the car with Meghan, and as you can see, is going around to enter through the other side. So you got to wonder, did Sophie tell her to go around because she didn't want to shift down? On the surface, that would seem pretty rude and mean of Sophie to do, but to be honest, well deserved. But when you look at the video, what actually has happened, she's forced Sophie to actually shift down the other way because guess what? Meghan wanted to be seen by the cameras getting into the car. How pathetic is she? But what's really funny is that Princess Charlotte caught what happened, and you can see her in the video laughing. And she turns back around, and you could almost see her mom tell her to turn back around. And Princess Charlotte keeps talking, and you see Queen Camilla's hand pick up almost to say, stop talking about this devil woman. And you can see Charlotte stops. I am certain that these kids are aware to a certain degree of how crazy their Aunt Meghan is. Now, the last clip that I'm going to show you has nothing to do with Meghan. In fact, this is going back to the weird interaction or lack of interaction between Meghan and Andrew. So this video from 2018, shortly after Meghan and Harry had married, shows Meghan thoroughly engaged with Queen Camilla. You can see her reacting and smiling. And then you see Andrew step over and say something to Harry, in which Harry starts laughing. As you can see, Meghan is paying attention to Queen Camilla and showing her that she is listening to what she says and is reacting to a certain degree. As you can see, Meghan doesn't like the conversation that Harry is having with Andrew, and Harry tells a joke and both of them laugh, but obviously Meghan didn't find it very funny. And to get Harry to stop, she pretends that she's respecting the Queen. I really do believe that in the beginning, Meghan was sucking up really hard to King Charles because she probably thought in her warped little head she would become his favorite. And that once she had him under her control, then she could get him to do whatever she wanted or give her whatever she wanted. I also believe that all the early on manipulation and being kind and sweet was all part of trying to get these folks trapped into her web in order to take her side. And since Meghan holds grudges because she didn't get what she wanted, she has been taking it out on the family since. And not going to the coronation definitely is going to play into something bigger later on. We know that she's plotting and scheming to steal the spotlight somehow. But going back to this video, I want you to pay close attention to Meghan and Andrew because Andrew says something to Meghan, and you can see that Meghan is not impressed, and she also doesn't engage with him like how she has been fake engaging with other members of the family. What you may not have noticed is that Andrew, throughout this balcony appearance, had been side-eyeing Meghan and looking over at her. For what reason, I don't know. She completely ignores him, but during certain times, you can tell she's purposely ignoring him. And she looks rather annoyed by him. I can't really tell what Andrew's saying. It almost looks like he's saying red meat, but what you can see here is that Meghan keeps clenching her jaw in this one moment. So the question is, why? Did Andrew slip in their safe word when she was a yacht girl? Just kidding. Now watch Megan and Andrew. She is like giving him a side eye, glancing over at him once or twice. He's also glancing over at her as well. It is just so bizarre. And she now looks more uncomfortable, as well as blinking more rapidly. And in this moment, it looks like she's trying to compose herself. And there's Andrew looking at her again. Obviously, this was before the sleazy stuff that came up with Virginia Giuffre, because after that, he never once looked at Megan again. And you can see here that Megan is looking at Andrew. Everybody else is facing front. Megan be feeling anxious? It sure looks like it. And does it appear that Andrew is looking in her direction? Yeah, it does. You know, I've said this before. Megan is a chatty Cathy with Harry's family, or whenever she was around Harry's family. You've seen her try to spark up conversation just to spark up conversation. But this interaction with Andrew is so bizarre. We've seen in previous videos where they don't look at each other, they don't talk to each other. And here is the one instance where Andrew literally has been looking at Megan, and Megan has been looking at Andrew. I really do feel that she and Andrew are hiding something major. Perhaps maybe this is another reason as to why she is not going to the coronation. Sadly, Megan is not done with this family. And for whatever reason, I feel like this is the calm before the storm. We can almost guarantee something is going to come up with this woman. But we'll just have to wait and see. Anyhow, please let me know your thoughts. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
It was such a fraud.